What is sensuality, and is it the same thing as sexuality? And also, how do you become a sensual woman in tangible ways? Today we're going to talk about this, and by we, I mean me. I'm gonna monologue, but you're very welcome to comment below so that this becomes a bit more of a conversation. So first and foremost, what is sensuality? It's about being connected to your senses, inhabiting your body and feeling your body. It does improve your sexuality because if your senses are fully turned on, then the quality of your sexual experiences can also rise, but you can experience your sensuality outside of sexuality. And I've helped so many women over the years through one-on-one coaching, through courses, to connect with their body and their senses and also their sexuality. But today I want to focus on the senses and just inhabiting yourself. And I want to tell you a little story before we start, which is that when I was in my early 20s, I started to meet some women that had a thing about them. And it wasn't about their actual physical features. It was something about the way they would talk, the way they would move, the way they would walk, or do mundane things like prepare a tea or something, and I would just look at them and be kind of magnetized by the way they just wear. And I realized over time that those were women that were really connected to their sensuality and very comfortable in their body. And I was very lucky to get to that point as well, where being inside my own body became a very luxurious experience. But to this day, I sometimes just really appreciate looking at women who have that je ne sais quoi that is often actually simply someone being connected to their senses and their body. And the biggest gift for me when I was able to access that as well wasn't the way that other people maybe started to perceive me, but it was that it really enhanced the quality of my day-to-day life. Mundane things like just drinking my tea in the morning, or opening up my book, or slipping into my bed sheets at night, they become so much more enhanced. Because in day-to-day life, we interact with our body and the senses of our bodies in so many ways. Like living as a human being is a way of interacting with your senses all the time. While you shower, while you put on your cream that maybe smells like something nice, while you eat every day, while you touch your head to do your hair. There's so many moments where our senses are just used, but where we might not be dropping into that moment, and so we don't get the juiciness and the pleasure from the experience. So how do you become a sensual woman? I want to share with you 3 powerful practices or ways to connect to your sensuality. The first one is to drop into your body. We spend so much time in our minds, and we get trained to spend so much time in our minds. Going to school is basically mind training, learning to analyze, to memorize, to focus, and to maybe even sometimes ignore the body and stay seated. And it's great that we can be so comfortable in our minds, but for a lot of people, we kind of overdevelop and focus on that part and start to be completely disconnected from everything that's going on down there, which is it's a big part of who we are as humans. So I invite you to pause in your day and feel inward. The way you can do it is simply a body scan, so you can feel your head and your neck, and then just with your attention, feel your breasts and the upper back, and then your belly and lower back. Go with your attention to your legs up until your feet. And you don't even have to pause and have a specific, almost meditative moment to do this body scan. You can also do it while you're walking if you don't have to be too careful about where you're walking, and you can just have a straight line on the sidewalk. Then you can do this body scan while you walk, especially if you've done it a couple times before and it's a bit easier for you. Or you can do it while you're sitting in the bus and you have nothing to do, instead of checking your phone, just going through the body. And this will really train you into coming back to your body throughout the day. Another way that I love to connect with the body, and that I propose to clients quite a lot because it's such an easy entry point to using movement to reconnect to ourselves, is to go on all fours, and you have already some set points. You don't have to worry about what do I do with my arms, what do I do with my legs, because you're on all fours. Your hands and legs are just on the floor. And then the only thing you do is move your spine. You can do cat-cow, you can do some kind of circles. And what you want to do is try and keep your attention on your spine and on the way it feels for your body to move. And the other thing you want to do with this practice is to keep moving. So if you want to do it for a whole song or for 5 minutes or even a minute, but like stay with your attention on the body and keep some form of movement going on in your spine. And this is really, really beautiful because you're having your attention in movement, and it can feel also very delicious and help you maybe even improvise or feel where you would like to go with that movement, because some things might feel particularly good, especially, you know, a lot of people sit a lot or have a little bit of back pain, and so it can feel really, really delicious to do this. And another reason that this specific exercise is particularly good is, especially for women, we can tend to freeze a little bit in stress situations, which for a lot of people, stress situations is just the day-to-day life. So you might have found yourself kind of tensing in your body and almost like just freezing into your body at times. And so doing this allows your body to unfreeze and get into a movement that feels safe, because it's a very simple movement and because you're keeping your attention on your body. And if you want to continue that exercise, if you feel really comfortable with the spine and you want to explore further, you can of course also maybe stand up and try moving your head or doing circles with your shoulders, as long as you can keep your attention on the movement instead of focusing on how that movement looks like, focusing on what it feels like to do that movement. Like even this, there's a sensation, like it creates an entire sensation in the back of my body and in the front here, like it's a whole thing. And so I'm not focusing on trying to do a circle, I'm focusing on feeling every step of this movement. All right, now number 2 of what you could do to reconnect with your sensuality or train your sensuality, I guess, would be this beautiful saying that you probably already know, which is called stop and smell the roses. And basically it's the idea that we can slow down in day-to-day life and simply notice what's already there. So the practice is not even something where you take an extra 5 minutes to do something specific, but in what you're already doing, already walking on your way to work, already washing your hands after going to the bathroom, taking a moment to maybe prolongate that experience, or like slow down how fast you're walking or how fast you're doing the movement, and just like actually taking a moment to notice how it feels like, what you're looking at, what you can smell, what you can feel, and smell the roses of the experiences of your mundane life, so that they become like something that pulls you back into your body and into your felt experience throughout the day. And you could also notice why keeping the pace, but sometimes it's just easier to slow down a little bit in order to really notice and feel into and potentially really enjoy the daily activity. And you might need to put some boundaries for yourself in order to be able to do this. Maybe you have a full house at home and you just don't get 5 minutes to yourself. Then it would require for you to set some boundaries and be like, hey, when I'm in the bathroom in the morning, I have these 5 or 10 minutes, they are for me. Nobody knock on the door and go bother me. This is my time. And really stand with that. And it might seem egoistical, like self-centered, like, oh no, I can't do that. Obviously, if you have a child just fell and is really hurt, like go and help your hurt child. But if it's just people wanting your attention, it's not selfish to take some time for yourself, because you're pouring back into yourself so you can show up in a more relaxed and happy and full way than before. So that might be these kind of boundaries, or even maybe getting up 15 minutes early so that you have a bit more time in the morning for yourself. Oh no, the camera's dying. Oh no! And we're back. Before we continue, give this video a like and subscribe to my channel if you want more. The third thing I would recommend for connecting with your sensuality is to touch yourself. Like touching your face, touching your head, giving yourself a full head massage. It's delicious and it's free. It doesn't take much time. It doesn't take much effort. And truly, most people really enjoy the feel of having their head touched, and you can do that for yourself. You can also touch your arms or massage them a little bit, massage other body parts. It's really beautiful. And maybe there are body parts that you judge about yourself, that you look at and you're like, oh, I wish this was different. And you might find yourself changing that relationship to that body part just by lovingly or with attention giving it touch regularly. You might find that it changes the way you view your own body, and it's really, really powerful. Self-touch is just very dear to me because I did a lot of massage in the past, and I think there's so much to be said for touching other humans and having also a couple practices with touch, but also touching ourselves. So simple, nurturing touch. The only thing you have to try to do is to keep your attention on that touch instead of going away in lots of thoughts about your to-do list and your day. And it doesn't have to take a long time. You don't even need to use oil or anything, as long as what you're doing is comfortable. And if you want some guidance, I have a full breast activation practice where you energetically and then physically come into contact with your breasts as a woman. It's a free audio guided practice, and I will link it down below. And I have a bonus tip for you, which is as you enter your sensuality, I invite you to not try to replicate an idea of some kind of sensual woman that you might have in your head. Because I think that sometimes, especially online, there's this thing of like the priestess, goddess, blah, 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 wearing a beautiful white dress and singing to binaural beats or something like that, frolicking in the prairie. And if for you a really cool sensual experience is to drink alcohol-free beer while listening to metal music, then that's right and that's sensual. Sensual is not an aesthetic or specific activities. It's simply inhabiting yourself fully, and it's an opportunity also to just enjoy day-to-day mundane things. That includes also feeling when there's emotions that might not look pretty, like anger or pain or whatnot. It's not about outloading those emotions on other people, but just being able to feel, being able to be in connection with yourself. If you want one-on-one support to connect to your sensuality, I do give one-on-one coachings. You will find information below, as well as the free guided breast activation. I hope this video helped. I'd love to know your thoughts, and I wish you a really good day. Bye!